911, what's your emergency?
You'll never believe what happened to me today.
Before I get started, I'd like to kindly ask that you hit the like button and please subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.
Do or do not. There is no try.
So The Guilty stars Jake Gyllenhaal and a bunch of voices of actors who you might recognize, but you never actually see their face. This movie is currently streaming on Netflix and is directed by Antoine Fuqua. This movie right here is proof that it doesn't take much to tell a compelling story. All you really need is a talented actor and a talented director, and if you give them solid material to work with, great things will happen. It's a very simple formula that modern Hollywood seems to be incapable of executing these days. The Guilty tells the story of a troubled police detective who is demoted to a 911 operator. And at first, this is for unknown reasons. The story stays with him as he scrambles to save a distressed caller while also dealing with his own personal demons. Very simple concept, but effective. Full disclosure, this entire movie takes place in one location, and that's a 911 operator's office. On paper, that sounds like it should be boring as shit, right? But through solid writing, great direction, and phenomenal acting, this movie actually works.
No shit.
There aren't many actors in Hollywood who can carry an entire movie by themselves. We've seen it done with people like Tom Hanks in Castaway. But I'm here to tell you now, Jake Gyllenhaal is one of those talents. He just puts his all into every role that he has, and it shows in his performance. You have to appreciate that dedication to your craft, because not many people are putting that much work into what they do. He's made a career out of playing these characters who are very much on the edge, and this is another one of those performances. Some people might say that he's been typecast at this point because he gets a lot of roles where he's kind of a crazy person, but I think a little bit of that is because he's a bit crazy in real life, and it just comes through in his roles, and it just feels natural when he does it.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on! Let's get nuts.
He does so much with his eyes and with his body language to enhance every scene that he's in. Every single call that he takes in this movie, you could feel him about to boil over. His character is just dealing with so much in this movie, and you can really feel it as you're watching it. There was, of course, some type of incident that he was involved with that got him demoted in the first place. He's separated from his wife, he's separated from his daughter, and all this angst inside of him leads to him obsessing over this one call that he gets, which on the surface is just a mother and her children are being put in danger. And he goes to great lengths, even overstepping boundaries, to try and help this family because he feels obligated to do so. And a little bit of that is from his own guilt about how things have gone with his family.
That makes sense.
And in the moment, all this feels like the right thing to do to him. But there are gray areas being explored in this movie, and it lets the viewer decide what's going too far. And again, all this is pushed along by Jake Gyllenhaal's performance, because he's essentially the only actor in this movie outside of some of the voices that he hears on some of his calls. So they were really asking a lot of him as an actor, and he delivered like he always does.
Damn right, that's the only way I work, Cap.
Also, I have to mention that Antoine Fuqua just doesn't get enough credit as a director. I do think it's interesting that this film is being released 20 years after his breakout film Training Day was released. He's always been great about exploring the dark side of law enforcement. And he usually does so with very organic and morally complex characters.
King Kong ain't got shit on me!
I can't stress enough how difficult it is to keep an audience invested in a one-actor, one-location film. But Antoine's direction is spot on in this movie, and that's a big reason why it works. It really feels like every shot in this movie means something. And he does a great job of taking a simple concept and using it to build tension, and then holding on to that tension for the entire duration of the film. Like, I was actually getting anxiety watching certain parts of this film.
Help me help you.
And it was so good that I didn't even really notice that they never left the office until later in the film, because I was just so invested in what was going on. And again, acting, writing, and direction are what makes that possible. This is Filmmaking 101. It's a basic plot and premise executed at the highest level. It's doing the most with the least amount of resources. Now, there are some moments in the movie that feel like they're stretching this concept a bit too thin, but in order to make a movie like this work, I think you do have to add some cinematic flair and take some liberties, if for nothing else just to stretch the story out a little bit, but it wasn't anything that really took me out of the film or ruined it for me.
Well, that wasn't such a chore now, was it?
If I had just one gripe with this movie, I'd say it's the last couple of minutes or so. To be clear, it has nothing to do with the acting or directing. It has to do with the message or the revelation at the end of the film, which felt a little bit too on the nose for me. I understand the message they were trying to deliver, and I even like the message they were trying to deliver. But I feel like a more ambiguous ending would have worked a lot better for this film. I think it would have been more effective if you let the audience decide what his next move is. And after everything that he's been through, how he's going to deal with the situation that got him demoted. Just flat out saying at the end of the movie, basically what's going to happen, cheapens his journey a little bit for me. Overall, I was pleasantly surprised by The Guilty, even though I shouldn't have been based on the people involved. The plot of this movie only works if you have these particular people bringing it to life. I usually give Netflix a lot of flack, but I have said in the past that when you team up with talented filmmakers and actors, it's very hard to make a bad movie. So I'm going to give The Guilty the pleased Palpatine.
Good. I've been dead once already. It's very liberating.
So have you seen The Guilty? If you have, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. As always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications, and I'll see you next time right here on Real Shift. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Y'all be cool. Shut up.